let's save. But we'll keep going. We'll keep going. Normally this is about where I'd put the cut in, but you know what? We're going to try and push through. What could possibly go wrong? This is the defendant lobby, alright? But there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? She's in detention! How do you lose her? Where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Oh no, it's Edgeworth. Edgeworth! Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7777777 ID number is, that is. I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. You're a prosecutor. That's your fault. That's your problem. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, right? Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. But she didn't do it. I figured you'd say as much. It's almost like it's my job as defense attorney. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something. The only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. You don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, Wright. This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready. Prosecution is ready. Normally this is when the prosecution puts forward its opening statement. It wouldn't be an opening statement. It's not the opening of a trial. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant? Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Archie. Been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. You don't mind me asking, Chief, what is this proposal of yours? Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. This shouldn't go through the chief of police. This should be going through the defense attorney, because she's the defendant. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. She's going to say that she did it, because Gant's making her. Sorry. Just need to... Though it's a bit sore and dry. I probably shouldn't be pushing through, but I will do. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request, and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honour, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. You can't advocate for that. It's got to be one of the attorneys. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February the 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, Lana. You can't. Your Honour, the defendant's claim does not change the defence's plea. Here's the thing. Like, here's where if right, as the defense attorney, this is where what you'd say is, we believe she's under duress, and this should be disregarded. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. You can't do that in the middle of a trial. You can't do that in the middle of a trial. You have to... I think at this point you would have to ask the judge permission to change your... Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. No, you've already got one. It's too late. That's not how this works. It's not how this works. The judge would have to agree. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid. Although this is an unprecedented situation, I don't think it's legally valid at this point in a trial. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. No, I'm still the defense attorney. You have to rule... Right, you have to rule, first of all, that she can change her attorney. Then you have to rule to change her plea, because this is a plea change now. So admittedly, he's basically practically agreeing to both, but she would have to file motions for both for him to agree. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant.
Objection!
This is so dumb. This is so dumb. So dumb. I'm still worked up about the pipe organ as well, which probably isn't helping things. One moment, Your Honor. At least I'm getting worked up about silly things. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you. Why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. I mean, surely this is the point where you go, like, if you want to do it, like, could you, before we have our ruling, could you tell the court what happened when you killed Bruce Goodman? And then, right, would you like to cross-examine the witness's testimony? What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes? Sorry, I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. Okay, yeah, I think just keep quiet, Phoenix. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal? Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh, to whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue... I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Okay, so Edgeworth is having like a crisis of conscience, and now actually is fighting for truth rather than just guilty verdicts. Okay, I think someone mentioned that in the comments, that's kind of what this case is about. This is more Edgeworth's case than Phoenix's. That's not what they said, but I think kind of, if I think about it like that, I think it makes a bit more sense. Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. Because I think at this point, the prosecution would have to accept the change of plea. I don't know. I've not really seen this kind of thing. I know that you can advocate to change who represents you, and you can put a motion forward. Either the kind of attorney barrister person or the client can put a motion forward to the judge to change who represents them, who's representing them. If the barrister's just like, this can't work, something has broken down between the two of us, I can't represent this person anymore. But like, I don't think that would be accepted. Like at the end of a trial, in real life, not in the incredibly overly dramatized Phoenix Wright kind of universe. Right. Prosecution's request. But yeah, I think the prosecution will hold the cards with terms of pleas and everything. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy. You'll live to regret this, mark my words. Okay, they're not really hiding the fact he's the bad guy. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye. My occupation, I'm Lana's little sister. I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark Killings. It's my favourite. The way he says it sounds like a TV show. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry. But I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Were you not paying attention to the last one, with, all the evidence being stolen? Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay then. If the prosecution is bringing that up, because here's the thing: is the judge shouldn't really be arguing something's not relevant. That should be between the two attorneys. If the other side challenges about relevance, but we think it's relevant, like myself and Phoenix Wright. I'm assuming Phoenix Wright thinks it's relevant because that's kind of what we've been investigating. Sure gave in fast. Well, of course he gave in fast because you didn't object. Because you don't want to object. You want this to be done. Why is Phoenix Wright upset? Why is Phoenix Wright upset that we are investigating what we want to have investigated? Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear's finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. So why were you just upset that the judge gave Edgeworth permission to cover this material? Why? Why was that upsetting to you, Phoenix? I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in, took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You ought to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Okay. I don't want to press Emma. Right. That's not disputable. You weren't taken hostage. He tried to. A man? Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of the ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room, correct? Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic, because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Skye and Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. Neil Marshall rescued me. I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed. But you didn't see the stabbing, did you? That must have been a real shock. Even now, when I close my eyes, I can still see it just as clearly. Tell us, what were you doing at that moment? I believe you testified Joe Dark was holding you hostage? When lightning struck and the lights went out, Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. I was thrown aside and the two began wrestling each other. I'm pretty sure I was watching them. Emma doesn't have any reason to lie. But that contradicts with what she's told us. She didn't see the actual stabbing. But Lana sure does. I need to get Emma to tell me as much about this as she can. Okay, so we just press on everything. Okay. Waiting in my sister's office that day. We've already pressed this, haven't we? Oh, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct? Yes, she was second in command under then Deputy Chief of Police Gant. My sister. She was the best detective ever. Yes, I remember. Deputy Chief Gant and Miss Skye used to be quite the pair. I believe they shared the same office. That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work. A man came running in, took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me. What was the prosecutor doing there? That day, there were two people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Almost forgot about Gant. Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark. When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead. And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in. I don't clearly remember what happened then, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then, lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. I see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Now, hear more. We want to find out as much information as possible. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago? Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before. We have it. We have it. Don't we? It's on the back of this. Yeah. I don't know how to rotate this the way I want. Oh, there we go. So, oh, sorry, I can examine this. Picture is drawn on the back of the evidence list. I've got a very bad feeling about this. So that's basically what she saw. Basically. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Ask about the picture. This picture the witness drew, I believe it has a very important meaning. The list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor.